What's up guys, Agent here with another PTS video, and today we're still sticking with the magDK builds. Yesterday we discussed why the Asylum build is dead for magDKs, but this video is actually going to tell you guys that the other set that has traditionally been used on magDKs, Elf Bane, that set is still going strong here. Some of you guys saw the patch notes and notably was concerned. And that's because they said that Elf Bane no longer works with, quote, channeled and beam abilities, and Zaan falls into this category. So if you take a look here, I am wearing my 5-piece Elf Bane. You can see the 5-piece is active, and they added in that line there. This effect does not work with beam or channeled effects. Zaan is considered a beam, so if we go ahead and equip Zaan here, you will see that it still only lasts for 6 seconds instead of 11 seconds. Basically, the Elf Bane additional 5 seconds is not applied to Zaan. However, there are 3 other magDK sets that do deal flame damage that do not fall under beam or channeled abilities. Those are Grothdarr, so you can see here it lasts for 10 seconds here. Ilambris, which was buffed, this also lasts for 10 seconds. And finally, Domihaus. Domihaus is a little bit of a weird one here, but this also does deal flame damage here. So regardless of whether you're actually dealing damage with that circle that's produced, you're still getting the additional 300 spell damage for 15 seconds here. And you will also note here that you can get 100% uptime on each of the 3 sets while you are wearing Elf Bane. So Domihaus has a 15-second duration on a 15-second cooldown, Grothdarr has a 10-second duration on a 10-second cooldown, and notably, Ilambris has a 10-second duration on an 8-second cooldown. So, out of these 3 sets here, Elf Bane does impact the duration, and as a result, we can get 100% uptime on these sets. Normally, you'd only be able to get 50% uptime on Grothdarr, you'd be able to get 62% uptime on Ilambris, and you'd be able to get 66% uptime on Domihaus. So, naturally, the question is, does Elf Bane, 1, make these sets very, very, more powerful than just wearing Zaan and not wearing Elf Bane, and 2, out of these 3 sets, which one is going to be the most beneficial for you? In other words, which one is going to pull the highest DPS? So first, let's take a look at our base Parse here. So our base Parse is going to be this Parse here. This is with the Perfected Inferno staff. Doesn't really matter whether you're running the Perfected back bar for Maelstrom or not, because you're going to be running hitting pen cap anyways. And you're running front bar Siroria, Mother Sorrow as the body set, and then we have Zaan. So this, we get 5-1-1, so we have 5 light, 1 medium, 1 heavy. We're still able to run Zaan. We're getting a very high crit with Mother Sorrow, and we obviously have Siroria here for the additional spell damage, as well as the Miner's Slayer. So this Parse here got us 81.7k. This Parse here, this one was with Grothdarr, so we have 81.1k, and one of the big weaknesses of running Elf Bane is you can't get 5-1-1. So we have 5-piece Siroria for the 5 light armor bonuses, so we're still getting the concentration bonus for the additional 4884 additional spell pen. We are still running the Perfected Maelstrom. Again, we are hitting pen cap because we do have 9 points. Oh, no, that's not it. 10 points in the spell erosion here. So we're still getting to the pen cap here, and we are running Siroria as, again, our front bar here. But 81.1 compared to 81.7, 600 DPS difference, you can pretty much chalk that up to possibly just RNG factor. You can also potentially contribute this to the fact that I was dumb and I decided to use Mystic Orb instead of something like Burning Talons or Scalding Mood instead. If I were to use either of those 2 abilities, so Burning Talons would be the one that you would preferably use, but only one magDK can use it at a time, or Scalding Room, this DPS could potentially be a little bit higher too. So for Parse purposes, you're pretty much equal, more or less. Again, crit RNG is probably going to dictate more of the difference than actual whatever your sets you're running. So this is Grothdarr. This one is Domihaus, so we have 78.9k. So this one's going to be a little bit lower, and that's partially because the 300 spell damage you're getting from Domihaus isn't going to be quite as strong compared to the Grothdarr or Ilambris damage that you're getting. So both of those parses are going to be a little bit higher here. But again, this is Domihaus with the Elf Bane Siroria. Pretty much everything remains the same here. Again, we're just swapping out this monster helm set here. So a little bit on the weaker side. One of the big things here is you'll notice that I don't have any damage from the Domihaus circle, and that's because once you get to the point from the dummy where the circle will actually damage the dummy, you're not going to be able to use Molten Whip, and you won't be able to use Burning Embers either, and those two are obviously going to be the strongest damage contributors. So if you did want the circle to damage the boss, either it's going to be a boss with a very large hitbox, for example, Yolnahkeen, or you're going to have to figure out some way of kind of manipulating your bars a little bit, manipulating your skills in order to make use of it. So, for example, you wouldn't be able to necessarily run Burning Talons. You would have to run Scalding Rune instead. You might need to run Force Pulse instead of Molten Whip. And as for the replacement for Burning Embers, I really can't think of one off the top of my head. Maybe something like Soul Trap, but that's not flame damage. So again, you have a few options there. But for bosses like Yolnahkeen, though, because hitbox is so large, the Flame Circle will hit when you're running Domihaus. So in that instance, you can add in that additional DPS. And just rough estimation here, this based on how much damage that Domihaus does, comparing it to Grothdarr here. So Grothdarr ended up doing 3564 here, and the tooltip for Grothdarr, let's pull it up here, is 2502. Domihaus is 1846, so we're taking a look at about a 66% drop in flame damage. So if we just take 66% of whatever DPS Grothdarr had, which if we go ahead and take a look here is about 3600, about 2.4k. So if we add 2.4k here, this would bring us up to about 81.3k or so. So pretty comparable to Grothdarr. Again, you're talking about now differences that are so small that there are probably going to be differences just due to crit RNG rather than actual set differences. And finally, Ilambris. So Ilambris is actually our winner here in terms of DPS, pulling just shy of 82k. So again, the base parse that we're comparing it to is this parse here with 5 Siroria, 5 Mother Sorrow, and 2-piece Zaan. So 81.7 compared to just shy of 82k. Again, you're talking about differences that are so small that you can chalk it up to crit RNG perhaps, and I'd assume that once I standardize for crits, that these parses are going to be very, very close together here. And again, these parses could be higher because I was stupid and ran Mystic Orb instead of Burning Talons or Scalding Rune. So there's a potential here to be the parse even higher here on a magDK. So while the Asylum build is dead for the magDK, Elf Bane still remains a potent set to run. So if you are running an Elf Bane build, running something like Grothdarr or Ilambris is going to be your replacement set of choice instead of running Zaan now. So magDKs, you guys did get hit a little bit when it comes to DPS. So the DPS here is a little bit lower than what I could hit on Herostorm, but you're still looking in pretty good shape. You're probably still going to be one of the stronger magDK DPS as of 6.0.0. Now, they might make changes in further PTS patches that might change this, but for right now, magDKs are looking pretty strong for magDK DPS groups. But that concludes this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Over this weekend, we will actually be taking a deeper dive into the vampires as they are right now in 6.0.0. Currently, vampires are probably a little bit overtuned, and I'll be going over that. And we'll also talk about Thrashing Stranglers and why those parses that you're seeing that are 100k plus are actually not very realistic. So be on the lookout for those two videos coming up over this weekend. Again, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next dungeon.